Greetings everyone, let's talk about Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3 Episode 1. We're finally back with the Lower Decks crew, and it's an interesting start to the third season. We've got a lot to talk about, let's get straight into it, but before we do, don't forget, this video will contain spoilers for Season 3. It is an Episode 1 review, so if you don't want spoilers, turn away now. Okay, I've warned you. If you're still here, then welcome. I'm Captain Jack with a bit of a bad voice today, so do excuse me, but we are reviewing Episode 1 of Season 3 for Star Trek Lower Decks. It's finally back on our screens. We've been waiting for some time now to see the resolution of what would happen to Captain Freeman, given she is being framed for blowing up Pakled planet. She's been removed to the command of Cerritos, the crew have been scattered, and it is very much Star Trek 3 The Search for Spock. It seems like our character's been thrown into this sort of adventure. It's rather interesting. Before we delve further into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We're well on our way to 100k subscribers here on the Trek Central YouTube channel, and we can't wait to introduce more videos to you and bring more of Lower Decks. We've got 9 episodes to discuss. I hope you enjoy hearing from me and many other of the voice guys here on the channel, as we're going to be bringing you the latest updates for Lower Decks Season 3. Alright, let's go. So yes, we immediately open in this episode straight off of the bat of the second season. The Cerritos has been impounded, Captain Freeman's been arrested, and all of the crew are essentially grounded. They've all gone back to doing their own individual sort of things. Boimler's on a plantation for grapes, or specifically drying grapes, and what I love this obviously is drawing a parallel with Captain Jean-Luc Picard. He has a wine vineyard, but Boimler has to have things a little bit worse. He's got a drying grape vineyard. Yes, and apparently all the women are after him. I mean, why not? It's Boimler, he's a very attractive man, but apparently he's got every woman on the vineyard after him, even though he's too oblivious to actually acknowledge their signals, which I find quite funny personally. It is that very trope of not really recognizing those who are into you and being so engrossed in your work. Now, Ensign Mariner, of course, is not really settling into the lifestyle on Earth, though we do get a glimpse of her Admiral or Dadmiral. I guess we can call him the Dadmiral. He is a dad and he is an Admiral. But he's not our Dadmiral Vance though, is he? Anyway, she's with the Admiral, they're chilling her there. They do make a great joke in this episode, which I thought hit home for many Star Trek fans, is why does Earth still have a Golden Gate Bridge? Yes, it's an iconic sort of like, you know, monument of Earth, but nobody drives anymore. What's the point of bridges? You can just transport over it if you really want to. Who still drives in this century of Star Trek? I guess you can pilot a shuttle, but you don't really go down a bridge, do you? I don't know, it's kind of a funny point, it just stuck out to me, I quite liked it. We've also got Ensign Rutherford and Ensign Tendi, sort of on this sightseeing tour of Earth. Apparently neither of them have properly checked things out before. Well, I think Rutherford has, but Tendi hasn't herself because she spent most of the time at the Academy. Now she's an Orion, she's not been on Earth that much before, so it is a sightseeing tour for them. However, they appear to be one of the most famous locations in Star Trek, particularly from Star Trek DS9, where they're apparently Sisko's Creole restaurant. Now this belongs to Joseph Sisko. I'm not sure if it still belongs to him at this point in time. He may have passed on at this point. It's not really established in the episode, but we do get a nice bit of detail. Apparently they serve Jem'Hadar sauce, or hot sauce, which is called Ketchup White, and apparently is very, very hot. As Boimler tries it and practically is turned to tears. I think we've all tried hot sauce and been like that before, so it's definitely a deep cut reference for many people who understand that there. Speaking of deep cut references, this episode actually makes some great use of Star Trek cameos. We do learn more about the plot of the episode, and we're going to discuss that now, but we get Mr. Vulcan himself, Mr. Tuvok from Star Trek Voyager, and also Captain Morgan Batesman from Star Trek The Next Generation. We remember that one episode he was in. It was a great episode. I personally like that one, you know, where the Enterprise is stuck in a time loop due to the ship coming out and hitting the sort of starboard nacelle, causing everything to blow up. I really like that episode. I think it was one of the great ones, and I really like rewatching it. But it's a shame we only saw one episode of Bates in it. It would be great for him to actually return and see more of Kelsey Grammer in Star Trek. But unfortunately, that's it. We only got one bit of him. Unfortunately, with these two cameos, such as Mr. Tuvok and Captain Bateson, we didn't get any voices for them. They're sort of there just on screen for the fun of it, which is a shame, but I don't know, maybe later down the line we'll get more of that. Mike McMahan, the showrunner and series creative, as well as the entire writing team, have teased those more cameos and surprises or callbacks to other shows to come later down the line. Of course, we do know we are visiting Star Trek Deep Space Nine's space station, DS9, later on in Season 3. We've got that to look forward to, and I really expect there's going to be some major cameos or characters we're familiar with in that episode itself. That is something to look forward to. The one element I wanted to touch on was the whole plot of this episode and relating to the second season finale of Captain Freeman being arrested. We eventually learn through this episode that it's actually Starfleet's Black Ops team which have been to work, sort of like Section 31, but not really apparently, and this is to do with Admiral Freeman. The Pakleds actually blew up their own planet, and Captain Freeman was framed in order to investigate this actual incident. It turns out this wasn't the case, and thankfully to Captain Batesman and Mr. Tuvok, they eventually worked out, it was the Pakleds did it themselves, and somebody else was sort of behind the whole thing. I quite like this, though I do feel like it wrapped up the whole thing a little bit too quickly. Then again, Lower Decks is meant to be the less serious thing. We're not meant to have these super serious storylines where Captain Freeman's being arrested and held on trial and stuff like that. It would have been nice to see more of that, however. For example, I would love to have seen a courtroom drama. Recently on our live show, by the way, we're live on 9 PM at Sundays here on the channel, that's BST. It would have been great to see like a courtroom drama. Think of Boston Legal. Some of you might have watched that before. It would have been great to see both sides going at it in a proper sort of legal Paramount going on. I would love to like Alan Shaw and Denny Crane. We had William Shatner playing him. If they riffed on that, it would have been hilarious. But to build onto this, I felt like we could have seen more of the actual senior crew. Yes, this is Lower Decks. We do focus on the lower deckers of the 4 ensigns, but in the last 2 seasons, the actual senior crew have come to more prominence. It would have been nice to see more of them in the actual sort of courtroom aesthetic. We got a little glimpse of them at the very start of the episode where they're walking out and Tiana sort of meows at them to get the press to go away. But other than that, we don't really see them throughout this episode unless they get a little bit of cameo at the very end. And also, Commander Ransom, you know what I mean, is now sort of in charge of Mariner to ensure she does stay in Starfleet. That's going to be an interesting one. I can't wait to see how their sort of dynamic evolves throughout the 3rd season. That's going to be something to watch and deal with. One of the elements we were looking forward to is the crew stealing the Cerritos and going and doing their own adventure. That wasn't the case. They didn't even really get out of Earth's orbit or local system. Instead, they got stuck in a sort of weird alien sex orgy thing, which is Lower Decks right down to the T, to be fair. I feel like we have to have one of these sexual jokes every episode, or every season at least, one major one. Last season we had Boimler naked doing that thing, which we're all haunted by that image still. Thank you, Jack Quaid. I think he did it live, well not actually IOL. It was something like that, Star Trek Mission Chicago. I've got to go back and look at the footage. That sounds a lot worse than it is. Anyway, I did like this episode because of that, and I would have liked to have seen more steal the ship a bit for longer. It would have been great to have them actually go out on adventures and do a bit more stuff. Sadly, we didn't get that. Maybe we'll get more of them operating independently later on in the season. We're going to have to wait and see how that actually goes. But for now, I will say the first episode of Season 3 has impressed me. I'm looking forward to the remainder of Season 3 and what's actually coming up. This episode serves a great way to reintroduce us into the Star Trek universe, specifically for Lower Decks. We know who the crew are, we know what the setting is, and I can't wait to see where things go from here. Of course, the Cerritos have still got to be repaired. Will it be fully repaired by the next episode? That's a question, or are we going to see more of the ship still in its sort of steampunk retro mode, which many of us like, by the way. It's such a shame Hero Collection and Eagle Moss have gone. I would love to have a model of the Cerritos in its sort of like bronze or copper sort of plating style thing. It looks beautiful like that. Let me know what you think, by the way, because I would love to see more of that ship. Now, that's going to sum up our quick review of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3 Episode 1. I do apologize for being a bit shorter. My voice is currently on the way out in a minute, and a lot of our team are currently off enjoying the summer vacation. However, don't fret, we will be back very soon with more Star Trek Lower Decks content to show you here on the channel, and hopefully you're all going to enjoy it. But I leave a question in view. What's one of the references that stuck out in this episode which you enjoyed the most? Personally, I loved seeing an Akira class, by the way. We saw it in a sort of glimpse of the artwork. It looked fantastic. You can definitely tell the art style and the sort of quality of Lower Decks is improving with every season. Honestly, if we end up with 7 seasons, it's going to look like a feature film, but still in this style. It'll be beautiful. Maybe not like the motion picture one they riffed on in Season 1, though. That could be a bit too much. Either way, I leave that question to you. For now, I've been Captain Jack here on Trek Central. Do let me know what you think of everything down below in the video comment section. And if you want to keep up to date with the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you very soon. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week for Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 2. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies. Goodbye.